You were lying on the table. You had a bright light shining in your eyes. Were there any smells in the room? Were there any sounds?
Yes. Yes, there was a sound. Computer, there were noises coming from the darkness. Strange. Like whispering.
More like clicks. Clicking sounds.
Louder. Faster. More of them.
I've been in this room before.
We've all been here before.
Welcome, everybody, to Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast. My name is Mike. I am one of your hosts, and with me, here in person, is my co-host, Johnson.
I'm definitely a little buzzed right now, but I'm here, and I'm present, and I'm with you. In person.
In person. We are recording live.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is a new experience.
I'm also excited that there's no air conditioning, because that was going to be disruptive to this recording. So now I'm just sitting here sweltering in my own sweat. But that's fine. That's totally okay.
Survive. It's not 100 degrees in here. We do have a fan going.
It's a little humid, but that's okay.
But for this recording, we'll be fine.
Yes.
How has your week been?
This week has been crazy. Work has just been nuts. I do have a date for Sunday, though. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. I do want to ask your opinion, and I also want to hear our viewers' opinions or listeners' opinions. We don't have no viewers because they don't see us. But how interesting to make the first date, because I haven't had too much experience dating, to be totally honest, and most of my first dates have been either a coffee or a dinner, which is fine, but it's a little pedestrian. So for this one, I'm like, oh, should we do something more interesting? But is that too big a commitment? I would love to hear your view on it.
No, I think I think it's a great idea. I think doing an
But what if you hate each other? I guess at least you have something to distract you in case you don't want to really interact that much.
Well, so when you meet someone, I don't think that you can't not like them right away.
Speak for yourself, Mike. I don't know.
Okay, all right, maybe, but I think you don't have you've seen pictures of them, so you know what they look like. They're not. It's not like this isn't a catfish situation.
I don't think so, but you never know. Sometimes these bots nowadays are very sophisticated.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I mean, you've done your homework. You've done some due diligence, and I think that Google is
LinkedIn,
a friend. Yeah. So
Facebook.
I think that's
Instagram.
I think he's real, and I think it's worth. Yeah, I think it's worth doing something because it'll take the pressure off of talking completely about yourselves, and you'll focus on the activity, and then you can sort of learn a little bit more about how each other reacts in the situation.
I guess. I've never tried this before, so this is my first time. I mean, we'll see if he's even interested, because I just offered it as an option. Yeah. I didn't want to force the issue.
I think it's a great idea.
But we'll see.
I hope he does, because I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Well, I will be sure to chronicle it for all our listeners in the next episode.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah. But yes, going back to your initial question, this week has been a little crazy. I've been put on a couple new projects because we have some attrition at the company, which happens, that it comes in waves and comes in cycles. And I always seem to be in a position where I need to find ways to cover for these people, which is fine. It's fine. But it's just a little bit nuts. But I'm it's fine. The world's on fire, but I'm chill as a cucumber, cool as a cucumber, whatever it is. I'm totally fine. Yeah.
You can tell that Johnson's a little buzzed because it's like he's saying cool as a cucumber, as cool as he thinks he is.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
totally cool, totally chill.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm like ice. Anyway, how are you? How was your week? How's it been?
Yeah, this week has been all right. So as you may have seen on social media, it was well, not you, but as
happy birthday!
Thank you.
That's right.
That's right.
I was with you.
You were here.
I saw you.
Yes. You actually posted the picture before.
I did. I did.
So I had my birthday on Sunday, and we celebrated on Sunday, so it worked out nicely. Had a great day. I do wish I had taken Monday off.
Because, to everyone that doesn't know, Mike hosted at his apartment along with Dennis, his boyfriend, and it's just a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
You had like a bunch of people over. You guys cooked.
We cooked.
You made sangria. You make great sangria, which I love, but it was just a lot of food and a lot of prep and a lot of cleanup. I'm just like...
Yeah, I mean, so believe it or not, it was less than previous parties, work-wise.
Well, Dennis also, how much did Dennis do?
Dennis did quite a bit as well.
A chunk.
But I wouldn't say, like, you've been to several of our parties before, and those have been, like, hours upon hours.
This was also a lot.
Hours.
It was a lot. It was like you guys went out to barbecue. It was like 95 degrees outside.
It was
and there was definitely prep.
Yes, there was a little bit of prep, but I did actually. So in the past, we've gone way overboard, and I did.
Yes,
I did rein it in because I didn't want him to be so crazy with it. You know, he had ideas like he wanted to do another seafood boil.
Oh my god, I can't even get out here.
So I kept it. I said let's just keep it super simple. He did kind of throw in the asparagus stuff at the last minute.
It was like asparagus wrapped in prosciutto. I was like, all right, this is nice.
Yeah, so he
did.
That was the
maybe unnecessary.
But there's something he wanted to throw in there. So
yes.
Yeah, and grilling wasn't that hard. We, got the meats ready the night before, so it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was hanging out with a couple of friends at the end of the night in the backyard, which finally it was cool enough to do so, he did all the cleaning. So
yeah, it's like you came in, it was magically clean,
and he was passed out on the couch.
Yeah,
so it was a great day, but I was a little foggy. I mean, I had a little bit of sangria and other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish. So note to self: take the day after you host your own birthday party to rest and recover.
Yeah, that's just.
What did you speaking? So the other element of we ordered a cake. He ordered a cake for me.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the cake?
It was fine. I'm not a big cake person.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm not a big dessert. Well, I like sweets on my drinks. I'm not a big dessert person. So when people offer me cookies, I'm like, no, thank you.
Which explains. So we just got back from dinner. We went out to dinner because
I had 2 bites of dessert.
You had 2 bites of dessert, and
it was more for you than for me.
Yes. Okay. All right. And I will realize that now in the future. Especially when we go to Las Vegas, I'll be more aware of that.
No, it's fine. I enjoy having a bite or 2 of dessert, but that's it. That's all I need. I don't need a whole cookie. I don't need a whole cake.
Okay.
It's just I need a bite, and I'm satiated.
All right.
So I'm more of a savory person.
All right. Well,
but the cake was fine. It cost close to $200.
It cost a lot.
It was pricey. I was like, is this necessary? There was questioning of all the decisions that led up to that point, but it was fine. To me, it tasted like Entenmann's. I was like, this is like an Entenmann's chocolate cake, but it had gold dusting.
It was gold dusted.
It had these, ridiculous, I would say frivolous, elements to it that probably there was a rose on the cake. For example.
Yeah, there was a rose in the cake. Yeah,
there was a rose on the cake. It was definitely superfluous.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm using all the adjectives, but it's all true. It's all true. you need all the adjectives to describe a $200 cake. So
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, but I thought it was good, but I like chocolate and I like cake. And,
You do like chocolate and you like cake, so all the power to you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good weekend, and
it was exhausting. I didn't host, but I was exhausted on Sunday.
You were, because
I was very
this
tired.
was also the last of your social engagements.
Yes, I had a nonstop weekend. It was the third of my 3 engagements for Sunday, and by that time I was over it. And you had invited all your friends who I'm not really close to, and I was like, these randos, and I didn't have. I was describing to you and Dennis, my social engagement system was overtaxed.
Yes,
so I was like on yellow alert, my shields were up, and Jordy needed to come and do some maintenance in my in my Jeffries tube. And I was just like, I just I don't know what to do for you right now.
Where's Mariner when you need her to clean your turbo lift?
I mean, there were some T-88s needed to help me, but that's another reference for everyone. But yes, I was not entirely present. I had to get up and go get coffee in the middle of
you did
the social time. I was just and then I left early because I was like, I don't need to be here anymore.
And it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah, I knew you were overtaxed, and it was totally fine.
And by that time, you guys were hanging out outside, and I was like, I don't need this.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, when you left, actually, we...
you were in the patio. You were in the back.
Yeah, I was showing Andrew and my friend Andrew and his boyfriend the backyard.
And I didn't want to be there.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah.
But I'm glad that you had a good time.
I did have a good time.
And
it was a nice,
I was glad to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate
of course.
it. It was.
We did talk a lot about poppers, which I'm not very familiar with. And I was like, "What is this?" And we talked about poppers for an hour. I was like, "Okay."
I don't think it was an hour, but I will give you.
It felt very long.
To you.
It felt very long.
But it was great to have you, and it was great to just have friends over. We were all vaxxed, so we were. And we were inside because it was 95 degrees outside
so hot.
and humid.
It was so hot.
Even though I spent the day before cleaning up the patio, which I probably lost 2 pounds of sweat. And,
well, I can't help you with your choices.
Did gardening for the first time in a long time. And so, yeah. But it was good. It was a great
as long as you had
weekend.
fun, that's all that matters.
It was a lot of fun, yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, and
And live long, prosper.
Thank you.
Yes.
So why don't we get into some Star Trek talk?
I don't even know what we're talking about.
I'm
buzzed.
We're gonna.
I'm still buzzed.
We're gonna talk about the Pride prompt for this week.
I understand, Mr. Spock. The glory of creation is in its infinite diversity.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
Oh yes, Pride prompt.
So it's obviously June.
I hope you have an answer because I have yet to fully formulate mine.
Yeah, it is a challenging question, and I was thinking about it, who I looked up to as a kid. And
wait, ask the question.
I'm going to. I need to find the question to read it accurately. So here's the question for this week's Pride prompt.
I'm ready.
Who is the character that you identified with the most prior to coming out? And did that change once you came out?
Am I supposed to answer this question first?
You're looking at me as
with a blank stare.
With a blank stare. So I came up with this question and I didn't come up with the answer to it. I came up with the question.
You had all day.
I did have all day, but I didn't focus on the question as much as I should have. I did think about it, actually. When I showered, I thought about it.
Do you have an answer to either part of the question, the pre or the post?
Yeah, well, yes, I do. The pre, so, even though I really came of age watching Next Generation, my younger years were watching the original series. So I think as a younger kid, I wanted to be Captain Kirk.
How trite. Continue.
But I also think I identified somewhat with the energy of Dr. McCoy, who's very emotional.
Okay.
So the obviously the original series was really focused on the big three, right? Spock, Kirk, and McCoy.
Correct.
So that's, as a kid, you would sort of identify with probably one of those more than the secondary characters like a Chekhov or a
unless you were
Sulu.
black.
Yes, exactly. If you
or Asian.
All right,
I'm just
fair
saying.
point. Fair point. Yeah,
I'm just
yes.
saying.
I mean, I grew up in Maine, so in a rural, somewhat rural area. So yes, I mean, my answer seems like very not out of the box for a 8 to 12-year-old or whatever, But and as we've discussed before, I didn't come out till I was 30, so But however, so all right, so I would say Captain Kirk / McCoy. Although I did like the banter with Spock, and I one of the things that always comes to mind is Kirk's sense of humor, like in teasing Spock or McCoy, like sort of being the in between person who like balanced the battle back and forth between emotion and logic.
He was such an instigator.
Yeah, exactly. So, but also a mediator. Like he would sort of mediate the two. So I think that's also what I identified with as being the oldest kid. I was sort of the one who was responsible and had to mediate between my younger siblings fighting sometimes. So there's that. Then, at 14, in 1987, when Next Generation came out, the two characters, and I've talked about them before. So I definitely identified with Wesley because I was the same age as Wesley.
Right.
I thought he was cute, but, I didn't.
What?
I mean, I thought he was cute, but I didn't, not like,
really?
I probably didn't, semi-consciously thought he was cute.
Oh, fascinating.
Which, recently, since it is Pride Month, and this is one of the many reasons why I like Will Wheaton. He actually responded to some fans who said, one of my first gay crushes growing up was Wesley Crusher.
Oh, that's sweet.
And Will actually said, well, on behalf of myself and Wesley, we see you. We are happy that we were, there for you. So
he's a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. And if you haven't, dear listener, if you haven't listened to him and Gates McFadden on her,
I haven't listened to part 2.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, part 1 was great. I think part 2 was equally as great. I actually kind of wish there was more. Like I thought it was that good of a conversation. And Will's such a fascinating guy. He's just into so many different things. He's creatively, he's an audiobook narrator. He's he does, and he's actually one of my favorite audiobook narrators. He does all of John Scalzi's books.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, really famous sci-fi writer. Actually, I'm pretty sure John Scalzi was one of the first people who got, and this is pretty recent, and this was like 3 or 4 years ago, he got like a 10-year contract with one of the book companies.
Oh.
And got a huge upfront for a 10-year contract and like a number of books. So, but he actually, so one of the things I would recommend if you do like Star Trek, which if you're listening to this, I would assume you would, he wrote this kind of parody called Red Shirts.
Oh.
Which is actually really funny and kind of cute, and it does tie into like Star Trek a lot. So actually, and it's a fairly quick read, but if you want to listen to Will Wheaton narrate it, I think that's totally a great idea.
Okay.
So, I wouldn't say I would have a crush because I didn't really understand like being gay and not gay at age 14.
Yes.
But I would definitely say that I identified with Will's character Wesley, mainly being like the kid who wanted to be on the Enterprise, and Will got Wesley was that kid. So there's that. And then obviously I have a huge crush on Tasha Yar as well. I just liked her fiery fieriness.
Wait, are we talking about crushes here or about who you relate to?
I mean, just character. I guess for me, it's like the question comes up to like, who did I connect with on screen the most? Like, who did I see? Because it's I said Kirk from the old series and Bones, but when you translate that to Next Generation, it didn't translate to like having that same feeling for Picard. Picard felt like a much older, like sort of a grandfathery figure.
Sure.
Will Riker seemed like more like a older brother or even a younger father figure. Deanna was interesting, right? But Tasha was like this one who like spoke up and had fire in her and was, and as a teenager, I remember being that sort of fiery person, having that personally, like with my friends. I was one of those people who would engage in arguments very much like Bones would. So I like that was one of the things when she died. It was definitely, I've talked about this before.
Yes, you were devastated.
I was devastated. But so yeah, I don't know that later on in Next Generation if I switched that after obviously Tasha died. Wesley left the show eventually to go to Starfleet Academy. I definitely think that it's probably still stayed with Wesley for being a bridge officer and being involved in things. But beyond that, I'm trying to think. Like obviously, I really love the inherent wisdom in Dax and the relationship she had with Cisco.
Are you just gonna name every single Star Trek character, or are we going anywhere with this question?
No, I mean, these are all before I came out. So
oh my gosh, we're not even the post part of the question.
No, we're not. And honestly, like Enterprise, I came out after Enterprise was over. So I don't know that I ever really had someone who. I don't think that it changed. Like none of those. I haven't stopped liking any of those characters in favor of other characters. I mean, you and I talked at dinner a little bit, very briefly tonight about, now we have the very, not stereotypical is not the right word, but we have and they're sort of token, but not token because they're main characters, but we have gay characters and trans characters and a non-binary character in Star Trek Discovery, which I think is great for people who are coming to Star Trek now. But I don't think that I don't think that the characters changed because I came out. I mean, I think all of them, the whole idea we talked about last week just around acceptance was and everybody being valued was just part of the inherent nature of Star Trek. So I don't know. That's sort of how I would answer it, and I in
a long-winded way.
Well, I mean, this is Star Trek, and these are the characters that I identified with most. I don't think it really changed by coming out.
Yeah.
But I did come up with a question, so
you did come up with the question. You did more than I did.
And I'm wondering, obviously, I'm interested in hearing your answer to this question. But I'm also wondering, would love to hear whether that experience translated for anyone out in our listener pool.
Oh, you mean putting it out there?
Yeah, I'm wondering if this actually changed for anyone out there as they went through the coming out process. But
I see.
How about for you? Now that you've heard my story, and that was the first time you've heard that kind of explanation from my experience. What was your experience? Who did you identify most with? Yeah, so as most of our listeners may or may not know, I really did grow up with the Next Generation. So, I was never a huge fan of the original series. So I would say TNG is where my heart's at. And out of all the characters there, I definitely would say, I mentioned this to you earlier, but I would definitely say Data is the one that I identified with most. Or found the most interesting. And I mean, I'm sure that isn't that unusual since he was one of the central characters of the show. But, I always found his character from a very intrinsic level to be very interesting, where he was this android who was non-emotional, but always one to be curious about
humanity. And I think that there was some innocence about him. Not that I'm innocent by any means, but there was this like innocent curiosity in Data that I really liked a lot. Whether it was his, whenever, Geordi would say some sort of idiom and Data would like misunderstand or something silly like that. Or if he was to ask like some sort of very insightful question because he didn't understand the nature of being human. And it was like a good question, I don't know. There was something about Data that always fascinated me. And, I'm not a particularly emotional person. And that's not to say, that's the reason why I really particularly relate to Data. But I do approach life from a very logical way. And oftentimes my reactions are, sometimes I say things that are very much like matter of fact, or it's very much like detached in some ways, for better or for worse. And I think that for me, there's something about Data that really seemed to resonate. I don't necessarily think that that being said, I don't think that my relation to any particular Star Trek character has changed since I came out. So I came out around, I would say, I started to come out in college. So that was around to myself around 2003, 2004. And then I didn't really come out till much later. I would say 2015 or so to the world. So it was a little bit delayed. So by then, obviously, Star Trek was over. At least the series were over, and we had some movies. But I think that in the new series, like Discovery and such, I mentioned this as well. I don't necessarily think that I was particularly relating to Stamets or Culber because having gay characters on the show was already so run the mill for every show that we watch nowadays that it wasn't really I don't naturally always gravitate towards the gay characters. That's not actually my MO. Just because they're gay doesn't mean that I necessarily relate to them. I would say out of the new generation of characters, I actually really love Tilly because she's true to herself, but she's kind of awkward. She's has this uncertainty about who she is, and she has to kind of build up this confidence.
She has outbursts that
she has these awkward outbursts, and I think that is part of my journey too, where I really had to find myself a little bit. And obviously in the most recent season, she becomes much more confident in who she is, and it shows relative to the first season where she's just really uncertain. She has aspirations, but she has a lot of uncertainty about who she is and what she wants and her capabilities. And I would say for me, that's probably a little bit closer to my experience where I really had to discover who I was and become confident about who I was. And now I'm kind of it's probably a little extreme sometimes where I'm kind of take it or leave it. It's kind of just if you don't like me, that's okay. I don't really care. That's not entirely true. I do care, but at the same time, it's not gonna bother me. I'm not gonna lose sleep over the fact that you don't like me. I'm still gonna be there's something about me that I need to improve or change. I still kind of internalize that to a certain extent, but at the same time, I'm it's not gonna be able to please everyone. And I feel that has been part of Tilly's journey over the course of 3 seasons on Discovery, where we really see that evolution of character, and I really relate to that. So, and I do think that has a little bit to do with my coming out experience too, where I used to be much more uncertain about myself, much more critical of the nature of my sexuality, and I had to not only accept it, but I had to embrace it. So I think that evolution took years. It took many years. It took more than 3 seasons, I would say, of my life. But I think that now I'm at a point where, I'm much more confident about my identity, my sexuality. I don't want to, lead a starship or whatever, or, like Tilly does. But, I think that our journey in that way has been similar. So, yeah.
That's a great answer.
I just came up with that.
You did.
So
see, a couple of old-fashioned and loosens the mind, and
yeah,
that's a great answer. I think that I can definitely see how your journey and Tilly's journey are parallel in a lot of ways.
Thank you. Yes, I just came up with that. Give me a gold star. I'm ready to leave.
Great job. So we'd love to hear from our listeners and find out if you identified, or which character did you identify with maybe prior to coming out, and then did that change once you had come out? And Johnson, you want to tell people how they can share those answers with us?
Yes. So you can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com, or better yet, you can probably just reach us on Instagram and Twitter at deepspacepride. You can comment on some of our recent posts, or you can DM us. And we would love to hear about your experiences.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Thanks for sharing. And
thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And we hope to hear from our listeners and share some Pride stories as we go forward. So, great. Well, now, should we get into the meat of our
great segue? So natural. Such a natural segue to our next segment.
Well,
Good job.
Well, we could do a we could throw a commercial.
Go in a commercial break.
You
But first... Yes.
Actually, we will throw in a quick commercial here. So, Trek Geeks has released a new app on iOS and Android, and you can listen to our podcast and all of the podcasts of the Trek Geeks podcast network on that app. But also, that's going to be, if you are attending Star Trek Las Vegas / the 55-year mission / creations whatever convention in August in Las Vegas. One, we'd love to meet you. So if you see us out there, please say hi. But two,
don't come to our hotel room, though.
No, don't come to our hotel room. But two, there is going to be a Trek Geeks Fansets party, and you're going to learn more about that.
I was like, are you allowed to talk about it?
No,
but I guess you're allowed to tease it.
Yes, I'm allowed to tease it. So
there will be
a party, and all the details are going to be released.
And I think it's going to be free, right? Or is there like a entry charge?
I don't know.
All right. Sure. Don't know. I never said anything.
Yes. But you can find out and learn more about that all through the Trek Geeks podcast app that's on iOS or Android. So do a search, download that. You'll find all of our podcasts in there, and you'll be one of the first people to know about the 55-year mission / fansets / Trek Geeks party that's happening in Las Vegas this summer. So check it out.
Wait, what is it called? I thought there was like a name for it. Is it Fan Geeks or Trek Sets?
No, I did not. I do not think so. But
I thought because it's a joint Fan Sets and Trek Geeks party. I thought there was like a merging of the two. It was like we had a Tuvix kind of situation.
It is that. No, gosh. No,
I love Tuvix.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh,
number
Tuvix.
one.
Oh, he was murdered by Janeway. I'll never forget.
You and every Star Trek fan out there. But no, there is no Tuvix type name for. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. You're right.
I'm right. I love being right.
It's called Fan Geeks Party in Vegas.
Okay.
There we go. Fan Geeks Party in Vegas. So stay tuned for more of that, more information on that, and that'll be available through the iOS and Android app. So download it and listen to our podcast there. So yeah, there we go. So there's a little tease about that. We'll be in Las Vegas for that convention, and it's going to be fun. So
# never forget. Never forget Tuvix.
Never forget Tuvix. Oh, gosh. All right. Now, let's move into our 6th episode of the Underappreciated episodes of TNG. And this week...
Was this my pick?
This was your pick, yes. Well, it's a joint
I gave you
pick.
options.
You gave
yes.
me options. We discussed the 3 options, and we landed on this one, which is Season 6, Episode 5.
Schisms.
Based on the information gathered from Commander Riker's tricorder, we have determined that the molecular structure of the alien life forms is Solanogen-based.
We think that's why they couldn't come through into our space as easily as they could take us into theirs. They needed to learn how to remodulate their cellular energy states in order to survive in our universe.
The tricorder readings indicate they created a small pocket of our universe in their laboratory to keep those they abducted alive.
Like putting a fish in a bucket of water.
It's probably what they were trying to do in Cargo Bay 4, create a pocket of their universe in ours.
What can we do to prevent this from happening again?
Looks like they found us initially by discovering my modified sensor signal. We should warn all Starfleet ships not to make that same mistake.
Have we any idea what came through the rupture before we were able to shut it down?
No, sir. We were unable to track it once it left the cargo bay.
Maybe it was a probe of some kind.
Possibly they were simply curious. Explorers like ourselves.
Ensign Rager and I were lucky to have escaped. Lieutenant Hagler's dead. Whoever it was sent that thing was more than simply curious.
So
I don't know. I'm not sure there are many gay parallels in this particular episode.
No,
I'm sure we can
there's-
draw something out if we tried really hard, but I just picked this episode because I thought that it's not appreciated. It probably wouldn't land in the top 30, 40, 50. But I thought it was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
did
this
too.
is a memorable episode for me because I remember watching it the first time and I was creeped the fuck out. And there is this great buildup of mystery and such. Do you want to give the summary to our listeners?
Yeah, let me
in case
tell.
you don't
In
remember?
case you haven't watched this in a while, here's the quick and dirty summary of Schisms. Commander Riker and other members of the crew are unable to find rest, putting the Enterprise on the trail of a mystery. I mean, that's pretty basic as far as the description goes, but
there is a mystery.
there is a mystery, and yeah. So, Johnson, you picked this episode.
I just love... So, I started the analysis of our last episode with my keen observation that Mott is a critical member of the Enterprise D, and the Enterprise D would not be the same if Mott wasn't there. And you were like, yeah, like, Mott's so annoying, and this is, like, one of the only times that we see the Enterprise D salon. And I'm like, no, we also see it in Sub Rosa. And then I forgot that it's also in this episode. It was a complete coincidence. I watched this episode, and we got to that scene. I just started laughing, because I was like, this is, like, probably one of 3 appearances that Mott has in the entire series. And somehow we picked it.
Yeah.
And it was a complete accident. It was not intentional by any means. That was like my favorite scene because of that. But overall, this episode has a place in my heart because, I really love a good Star Trek mystery. Some of the best episodes for me are when the crew, and this could be like, any series really, less so Discovery because it's so serialized, but honestly when the crew is kind of just faced with this like scientific or medical mystery of some sort, and they need to solve it. I hope we get some of this in Strange New Worlds, honestly, because I think that these are easily watchable, they're self-contained, and they have the crew kind of working together to kind of figure things out and kind of using all their brain power cooperatively to tackle an issue, or in this case, a conundrum, which is another episode that I actually haven't watched recently, but whatever. But that's a similar episode where the entire crew loses their memories and they all have to work together to kind of figure out what's going on. Yeah. I actually really like episodes like this. And this episode in particular is just, there's a bit of a focus on Will Riker. Just, there's no particular reason why Will Riker is the focus, because multiple members of the crew are having, these different experiences. But it just, I love the build-up in this episode where at first you see Riker, he's just not sleeping well, it's like insomnia, whatever, and it's a slow build-up of like dread and mystery. And then you get to this holodeck scene where it's basically like these survivors of, what's been going on. It's like AA, they're like all talking about their experiences. They get together on the holodeck. They kind of reveal like these like little bits and pieces that they each have of their own experiences. And it's like creepy as fuck. Like it's like by the end, before the commercial break, the noise, the sounds that they build, the setup and the holodeck, is so good. It's like literally like, and I think what's the last thing that Will says? Like someone was like, "I've been here before," and then Will's like, "We've all been here before," and it's like commercial break, and it was like just so good. And then like I don't know if like the payoff and everything is as good because these like fish looking like aliens or whatever, they're behind it all. But this was an episode where I also think, because they like there's a little bit of cliffhanger. It's kind of like Conspiracy, where there's a little bit of cliffhanger. They like release like some sort of signal out to the void, and it's like, what's happening? Is there going to be a follow-up? There is no follow-up. But they're gone. But are they? So I just think that this is there's not so much like character building. It's really just the crew kind of putting their minds together, using their skills and their talents and their technology to kind of figure out what's going on, and you get this really cool reveal. So yeah, for me, this is why like this was an underappreciated but standout episode of, oh my god, season 6. Where are we?
We're at season 6.
We're close to the end. So yeah, so for me, this is why I really like this episode. And yes, I definitely hope that we get more of this stuff in Stranger Worlds, where it's like the entire crew working together. It's not just Michael Burnham, our Lord and Savior, dealing with all the shit in the universe. It's the entire crew utilizing each and every one of their talents to come together to figure something out. Well, and it's not, and the fate of the universe does not hinge on this. It's like we need to solve something, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, I hope it does. I hope we do get to see some things like this in Strange New Worlds. I think it'll be really great. For me, so you love the holodeck episode, the holodeck part of this episode, and you know what? I really struggle with that part of this episode.
Oh, really?
I do.
Interesting.
And I think it's more a choice of how they describe things and what shows up in the holodeck.
Yeah, no, that's there's a little bit of that. I didn't go into that, but it's like, show me a metal table, and then it's like
a surgical table.
It's a surgical table. I'm like, is
that a metal table?
Is that a metal table?
Yeah, I don't. So I don't. I guess I'm wondering, production wise, like, were these things added? Like, well, I guess so. Obviously, the script was written, and then
I don't think they may have only had so budget for so many tables.
Yeah. So I think this is where one of those things where the script and the production team didn't really think through what was being said and what they were showing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched it twice over the last couple of days to get ready for this talk, to talk about this. And both times it just kind of stuck out to me as I get what they're doing. I get what the crew is doing and how that's working and from a story standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're seeing the holodeck produce is just very distracting. And, everything from, I think they started out fine with the conference table.
Like a wooden table, that's okay.
When they went to the slanted wooden table, which isn't a table at all.
I was like, what is this table?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it is a table, but it's like weird. It's like, it has this outside rim, and then the middle is slanted.
Yeah. It just so...
And then goes from that to a surgical table.
Yeah. There
are a few steps missing.
This is not an Emmy award-winning production setup here, because it just did not align with the script at all. So that was distracting for me. Going back to sort of the beginning of the episode, like, I love like you get to see the real day-to-day, like what life is like on the Enterprise, right? And that I really like. Like everyone has a bad day, so you see Will Riker, having a bad day, didn't sleep
his
well.
hair is like mussed up a little bit.
His hair is all
it's not as perfect as it usually
he's
is.
late to a meeting.
Yeah.
So I liked all of that. I some of the more disturbing pieces of the episode are like his arm was severed off,
right,
and reattached. That's disgusting. That certainly elevated the urgency and the immediacy of what was happening. Like there were some
of the stakes were like
raised, like something like that. So I thought it was a little forced to bring have Worf be a part of it. I mean, obviously that generated the Mott scene, which, going back to Mott really quickly, he is annoying, number one, but number two,
I love Mott. I want him to be a barber.
Yes, I know you do.
She said, if they're not squirming, we won't eat them. Ah, Mr. Worf, my good Klingon sir, welcome. What a pleasure it is to have you back with us again so soon. So, Lieutenant, haircut today? Trim your beard?
I would like my hair trimmed.
Ah, a trim, of course.
Not like last time.
Oh, no, just a little off the top. No, took way too much off last time.
I do not. I would probably slap him. But I think what really gets me is that his coworker just keeps a very it's almost like he's not even talking. Like either they
Which one?
The other salon worker or whatever. Like because the scene opens up with Mott just talking to him. And he's sort of blank faced. So either they did this take 100 times, and this is the one that Mott, the guy who plays Mott, actually gets through everything he's trying to say without a mistake, and the other guy is just over it. So it's just it's kind of I'm just watching that. That scene unfold, and I'm like, this guy either is so completely interested, doesn't even react facially. Like there's no acting. It's almost like they have a mannequin there talking to Mott, and I'm just like, well, I guess if he were boring the hell out of me too. But it kind of set up the whole thing. Again, a completely unnecessary scene. I think that it would have been fine.
But the scissors.
The scissors.
You need the scissors.
Yeah, I guess that piece is where he sort of brings it in. But,
yes, it's relevant.
Yeah, I guess that's the piece that sort of ties it all together. But anyway, I do like how the stakes are raised. I do like how things are.
We didn't even talk about Data's poetry reading.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That was such a great scene. I love Ode to Spot. Classic. It was so good. Yeah. And there was these randos in 10 Forward that you kind of focused on a little bit. Yeah. One of them was one of the people that ended up in the holodeck describing the scene, I believe.
Really?
But yeah, there was another one that was sitting next to Picard.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this girl? Yep. And they're making eyes to each other. I was like, ooh, is this a date? I was like, what's happening?
No, she was in another episode.
They were just kind of get us out of here.
Either she was in the episode before it, which I think was Relics, actually, or which she may have been. She's an engineering person. I think I've seen her in engineering. Yeah. So
she was dressed very casually.
Yeah, but her face and her hair stood out, and
I see.
Enough. I've seen her. Either she was in season 5 around the Ensign Row episode, or she was in Relics, which is the episode before this, which
well, I love Ode to Spot. That's all I'm going to say. It's very clever. Like Jordy said, I agree with Jordy's analysis. It was very clever. It lacked emotional depth, but I'm all about cleverness.
It was very focused on form over emotion and story, but it was really well done. I'll agree. I feel the same way about
I would have been
Jordy.
So paying attention. He would have totally had my 100% attention.
Well, all right.
Yes.
So coming to the end. So I did just complain about the holodeck piece and how they developed it. What I in the past when I'd watched this before this week, in previous years, whenever the last time was I saw this, I thought that there was a lot more. I falsely remembered that there was a lot more similarity between what they came up with in the holodeck and what actually was in the universe that they were.
Oh man, it was completely different.
It was completely different, and
it was completely
for whatever
different.
reason, I don't know how I overlooked that, but I did notice that. I was like, okay, now at least I'm happy that there isn't. It isn't exactly like what you see in this universe.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But it's pretty different.
It is.
Yeah.
And I was glad about that, and that actually made it seem even creepier when that happened. So the scene in this other universe, and it's
South Space Domain.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
The way that Will is carried out, I thought was really quite good. To see him like levitated out, I thought that was some decent early 1990s special effects.
Yeah.
That was good.
I find it to be respectable. Yes.
Yeah. So that stood up to time. But I did think that setting and everything, I would have honestly the costumes on these creatures was great. Even though they do look a little bit like fish, I would still say that. That coupled with their hoods, it was almost like a cult.
Yeah,
cultish
I thought it was okay.
feeling.
Yeah, it was fish people, but I was okay with that.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job with that, and I thought that it was appropriately creepy. And you were kind of like, he's awake. Is he gonna get caught? Even though he's not.
He did take his sweet time to do anything though. He's kind of just lying there, kind of waiting for his moment. Yeah. But I was like, you're waiting a long time.
Yeah, you're jeopardizing Ensign Rager's life, and so I think that it does. It is creepy. It does pay off well, and I think it's actually a really enjoyable episode. It does come to a kind of a conspiracy-like ending.
Lost opportunity. I would have loved some random follow-up on Voyager or something.
Well, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
That would have been really interesting to see that probe floating around and somehow making it to the Delta Quadrant and all of that. So.
But, we can't have everything that we want. So,
yeah,
that's fine.
So, yeah. I mean, we've talked about missed opportunities many times before. But
including Tuvix. Yeah. There could have been more to that story.
There could have been, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes!
We're not talking about Tuvix this week, so we'll leave that for another episode. But anything else you have thoughts on Schisms?
I mean, it's kind of straightforward.
I would agree with you in what you said. This probably isn't something in the top 30 or 40 episodes, but it's a really good episode.
Yeah,
and it's a really good standalone episode.
Yes, no, I agree.
If you're looking for an episode to tell a friend about to watch, or to get an idea of what Star Trek is about, or if you just want to watch a creepy episode around Halloween, which this could have been their Halloween-ish episode. It would have fallen sometime around that time of year. I definitely would recommend Schisms. I think it's a good creepy mystery story with
definitely. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Easy to watch, good one-off.
Yeah, and the stakes are appropriately raised. They do lose one of the ensigns who was taken, so I think that that's really interesting. And I am still creeped out, and will always be creeped out by the fact that Will's right arm was severed and reattached.
Yeah, that didn't bother you as much. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So there we go. TNG's underappreciated episodes, season 6, Schisms.
Wait,
and
so
now,
what are we talking about for season 7?
Well, we've been talking about what we are going to talk about.
Oh my god, I'm so excited!
Since before we even began this series. So, Johnson, for season 7, what episode?
No, this is your pick, not mine.
Well, this is actually not really my pick.
Wait, what would you pick then?
No,
you should pick something.
I didn't. No. This has always been the ending point for this series. Has been Sub Rosa. So we are going to watch next week Sub Rosa. As
This is what this
season...
entire series is leading to.
Yeah.
The end point was always going to be Sub Rosa.
So you've been talking
that
about
was
Sub
the
Rosa.
destination, and the past 6 weeks have just been the journey.
It has, and it's funny. It's come up in multiple places, right? It has come up in interviews with Gates McFadden about her new podcast.
Yes, it came up in the Pod Directive recently.
Yeah.
Gates McFadden
Oh,
has
yes,
talked
it
about
did.
Yeah, it did. They brought it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of another great...
Tawny Newsome was like, is it a candle? Is it a lantern? I was like, oh my God. Could you imagine if it was a lantern that Dr. Crusher fell in love with? I would love that.
Yeah, so I have not watched this in a really, really long time.
Oh my God!
So I will have some fresh thoughts. We all know Johnson's feelings about this episode, and
I'm sure everyone does, but I certainly do.
He's very excited about this, and so this is what we've been working this entire time. These last 6 weeks of episodes have been all coming to this penultimate...
To the journey!
To Sub Rosa. So next week we will talk about... The Underappreciated, although I don't know. I think it's becoming more and more
It's becoming this weird cult classic of Southern Story.
Yes.
It's so weird and out there and bad that it's good to some people.
Well, and we'll have to see. Depending on who's out in Las Vegas this summer, we'll have to see if it somehow makes the rounds and comes up as a topic of conversation out there. But
I'm gonna dress up as the lantern or the candle.
Oh, great! There we go. So if you see a lantern or a candle walking around at the 55-year mission this summer in August in Las Vegas, then you can just walk up to it and say, "Hi, Johnson." There we go. So great. Well, why don't we haven't done it in a little while. Why don't we talk a little bit about Off Topic?
Great. So, Mike, what have you been watching or reading or whatever?
Well, I was thinking about this when we were talking about doing this, and I haven't, as far as TV goes, I haven't really been watching a lot of non-Star Trek, because every time we watch a episode for this series of underappreciated ones,
you get sucked in.
I get sucked in, and the Netflix playing the next episode,
oh my God,
10 seconds after this one ends has really captured me. So, and also, usually I'm watching or watching this while I'm cooking or something, so I just let it continue to play.
All right, you know what? When you watch Sub Rosa, it needs your full attention.
Okay, I will remember that.
I'm just saying.
So, so as far as what I've been, we've been. Dennis and I did start Hello, Victor. We've watched the first episode of season 1, which...
Wait, when is season 2 starting?
This week, I think.
Wait, you never seen Hello, Victor?
No, because we only recently got...
Oh my God! It's good!
Yeah, so...
oh my God, you're going to have the feelings later after you finish.
Yeah. And season 2 is starting very soon. So
yes.
We've started watching that, but we're also big fans of the British Bake Off series. British Bake Off series. And on Hulu, Dennis has found that there was an American version of this with Paul Hollywood, who we both love.
Even I knew this.
I did not know this until Dennis started watching this. So we've been watching that, and it's been all right. So
it's a little different.
It's a little different, but I'm not.
Somehow the British propriety just adds an extra level to everything, and they're more polite. There's something about...
Yeah, I mean, having Americans do this series is very weird to me, because it's a very British show, number one. And number two, it is, Americans are much more competitive. And
they're much more competitive, and they can be rude.
They can. But in this first series that we watched, I don't know if it's the first series, but it was the 2018 holiday edition. Actually, we watched the ending last night, and I really enjoyed how the three finalists were really rooting on each other, and they were actually really gracious in the way that the British people have been. Okay. So I was actually impressed with that.
Okay, I'm into that.
So that was good. So Hello, Victor, a little of the Great American Bake Off, and that's pretty much it for TV, other than Star Trek. And so I have also recently completed 2 audiobooks. So
did you finish the Discovery one?
I did finish Wonderlands, yes.
And
it was fine. You know, it's
serviceable.
It was serviceable. You know, Una McCormick is a very good author. She definitely, I will say this, she definitely captured Michael's voice and like attitude, and you know, so that I think I got a little bit tired of that towards the end of the book. But after that finished, I dived into a gay fantasy, young adult fantasy called Infinity Son.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, by Adam Silvera. He's done a lot of young adult gay main characters. And Infinity Son was really enjoyable. It's it's New York, but with magic and kids and
you're not into
war.
the fantasy stuff as much though.
Sometimes I am, but this did it for me. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Good characters. You know, one of the main characters is gay.
Okay.
You know, and Adam, there is a second one. I haven't started listening to that yet because I like to change it up, even though it kind of ends on a cliffhanger ish. I'm gonna read some other things before I go back and pick up the second book, but really good fantasy, like young adult. It's definitely young adult. It's not like serious. It's not like Ringworld, like what you're reading. It's definitely.
Way to spoil it.
Well, I mean, you've got more stuff to talk about than just that. So I enjoyed it, and I recommend it. It's a good book. And then I listened to some military sci-fi, which I really enjoy. And Into the Stars by James Rosone is the first book in this. What is it called? The Into the Republic.
Military sci-fi, you said?
Yeah.
Is that like Starship Troopers? Like what?
Yeah, that's sort of military. Yeah, like space opera, like grandiose, like basically Earth, you know, Earth expanding into the stars type situation.
Fine.
So, but with the heavy military focus and definitely like a kind of a grander plan or grander scheme of things. So that was really good, and that's the first book of that series. Something about the Republic, I forget. Rise of the Republic, that's what the subtitle is called. Okay. So that was really good too. And you know, Audible is already prompting me for continue listening to the series.
Oh my god.
Which is kind of annoying. So yeah, so I just finished that I think over the weekend. Probably I finished it as I was preparing the backyard for the party, which we didn't end up using until the end. But anyway, so those are two of the things. I don't think there's really anything else I've been doing off topic other than those. So we talked a little bit about dinner, and I'm excited for you to share with our listeners your off topic things.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I'm trying to get back into that a little bit. So one game that I'm playing is Hades, which is it was indie darling. I know you're not into gaming, but it was like a big game for the indie world last year. It's fun. It's for the Nintendo Switch. I'm done with it. It's kind of over. But the more interesting game that I'm playing is Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. So this is a compilation game where it's 3 Mass Effect games in one. So they like remastered some of these earlier games from Mass Effect. It was like 1, 2, and 3. It was 2007, 2010, and 2013. So it was like in that order, I think, more or less. So I've never played Mass Effect before. Mass Effect is a big deal. A lot of people love Mass Effect. It's in the video game discourse. People love it. People talk about it. I've just never played it. Like, you've probably heard of games like... You've probably heard of Mass Effect, just...
Yeah, absolutely.
In conversation.
Sure, yeah.
There are these big games like The Witcher, you know, the Netflix series, but
Right.
that's... You know, I've never even played, like, The Witcher. Like, you know, these are big games. I just never played. I don't know why. It's like how I've never seen, like, Indiana Jones. Like, it would be the equivalent of that. I've never seen Indiana Jones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So... For me to call myself a gamer or a movie buff, but having never played like Mass Effect or watched Indiana Jones, it's kind of weird, right? So I'm like, you know what? It's time. It is time for me to play. Are you listening? Who are you texting?
Dennis is texting me. Keep
All right,
going.
that's
Keep
fine.
going.
That's fine. So, I was like, it's time. I need something to do other than rewatch old TNG episodes. So I was like, let's play Mass Effect. And I wasn't sure about this because I'm not going to get into it. Mass Effect is kind of like a Western RPG versus like a Japanese role-playing game. It's a very different style. But I was like, sure, let's try this. And I'm loving it. I finished Mass Effect 1, 2, and now I'm on Mass Effect 3. So, spoilers for Picard Season 1 and for a 14-year-old game. When I finished, I mentioned this to you, when I finished Picard Season 1, or towards the end of Picard Season 1, I did see a lot of reviews about Picard Season 1, and a lot of people were like, Picard just ripped off Mass Effect. And I didn't have the reference. I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't know, because I'd never played it. So I finally played Mass Effect. I finished Mass Effect 1, and I was like, I can see what people are talking about. There are many parallels. And the thing is, like, you said this, like, during dinner, like, Mass Effect has definitely been inspired by Star Trek. For sure. You're talking about this, it's the foundation of the game or the universe that Mass Effect's in is that there is this interstellar council of alien races. There's not like a federation, but it's like there's a governing body of sorts. And between all these, there are dozens of races in this game. I don't remember most of their names. But, obviously you play like a human, because whatever. But, yeah, there's like, you get thrown into this. It's very much like The Witcher or Shadow and Bone, where you're just thrown in and they throw all these pronouns at you, and you're like, what, who? So Mass Effect is one of those games where they just like throw you into the deep end, and you just gotta like, tread water or something.
It's interesting because I figured out The Witcher and enjoyed The Witcher, but I didn't figure out...
It takes like an episode or two, though,
I didn't figure out
Witcher.
Shadow and Bone and didn't
really?
follow up. Yeah, I didn't... Or Dennis started watching it without me, and I caught part of it and didn't really understand.
Okay. You need to watch like 2 or 3 episodes, and then you kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes, though, I'm not always willing to give, if it's not interesting enough, or if it's...
Yeah.
If it doesn't catch me.
Yeah, The Witcher, it's like one of those where they like throw a lot of names at you and eventually you catch on. You kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Mass Effect is similar. Where,
you also have Henry Cavill to look at. So
yes, Henry Cavill is kind of hot.
Yeah, so.
But in any case, your main character in Mass Effect, John Shepard, is the savior of the universe. He's like the Michael Burnham of Mass Effect. But the main mystery of Mass Effect and the main antagonist of Mass Effect is basically this extremely advanced spoilers for like the next 10 minutes, extremely advanced artificial intelligence race. Like, they're synthetic, they're all synthetic. And the main narrative of Mass Effect 1, the first game of the series, is they're being called back. So every 50,000 years or so, they come and wipe out all biological life in the galaxy. And in this game, in the first game, there's like a herald. Like he's like trying to get them to come because he thinks that So what happens, which is also very similar to Picard Season 1, is he gets exposed to this artifact that plants visions in his brain. And he's like, I gotta get them to come, because if I do this for them, they'll spare me. And now he's on this quest to find these like artifacts that will get them, that will basically activate the beacon that will get them to come from wherever they are hiding outside in like they're like in between the galaxies. They're hiding out in the dark space or whatever. And, he can get them to come and do their thing. And John Shepard, the main character, your character, is trying to put a stop to it. And I was like, all right, so extremely advanced artificial intelligence that wants to wipe out all biological life, and there are visions and warnings, because John Shepard, your main character, also gets like the visions, and he is able to interpret it, and he's like, oh, this is what the bad guy is trying to do. And he's like, and I'm like, okay, visions, Is it the ammunition? No, it's not the ammunition. It is something completely different. It's a warning. There's a beacon. They're being called from like, you know, outside the galaxy. Through some sort of like, portal. Okay. You know, and I was like, all right.
So you saw these reviews about Picard season 1, and did they ever say in the reviews, because I didn't read these reviews because it wouldn't have been applicable to me as, you know, did Michael Chabon ever reply, or did someone
I don't know.
You know, because one, Michael Chabon has been a writer for many, 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 many years, mostly in books. So, you know, I don't know. I don't get the impression that he's a huge gamer. So I don't know if he had, you know, if he had the general thread of Picard and people in the writer's room who were gamers were kind of throwing this
Maybe.
in.
I have no idea the genesis. You know, I wasn't in the writer's room. I don't know how like, it came together.
I'm kind of like postulating like what could have, you know, because it does sound like pieces of this definitely sound very similar to Picard. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah. And it's like convergence of ideas. It happens. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, things get stuck in your head. Like if you were a gamer and you did this game back in 2007, you would probably still be talking about it now.
Yeah.
Even though this is a re-release and like updated,
right.
You would still be talking about it now. So that story kind of sticks in you.
Right.
The same way like The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings story.
Sure.
Which has been around for 70, 80 years, is stuck in everyone's mind. So I think it's, you know, it sounds like Mass Effect is one of those games that just kind of envelops it, or becomes a piece of the culture.
It's become a piece of, you're right. It's become a piece of like pop culture, especially Western entertainment culture, because again, it's a Western role-playing game and it's really popular in the US. And obviously Star Trek is a US production. So, you know, there's definitely going to be like some of these like overlaps, and there's going to be like duplication of ideas. But
did you work your way through all 3 Mass Effects? Or
I'm on the 3rd one right now.
You're on the 3rd one. And so how much time have you, not being a gamer myself, like how much time have you invested in each of these games?
So around like 20 to 25 hours per game.
Per game.
Yeah. So now, so I'm clocking around like 50 something.
Like 50 to 60 hours,
right now. Yeah. Because I'm the beginning of Mass Effect 3. Yeah.
And these are basic questions. I realize, like, I don't even know what gaming platform you're on. Like,
it's for the PS4, but it's on PC. It's on Xbox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's out there for
all
the...
It's on Steam, which is for PC.
Okay.
So, yeah, they tried to make it so that almost anyone can play it. Yeah.
And it's a single person player game.
It's a one player game.
Like you can't, like I can't come over and play with you. It's literally like
we could. So a couple of my friends are doing this, but they're a couple, so they're like playing together because it is a very story driven game.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like almost like an interactive movie where
you did describe it as that.
There are gaming elements, but it's a lot about your decision making and how you form your character. Your character can be a really nice guy or really fucking terrible, and it affects the entire storyline.
And by those decisions, like whether he kills someone or shoots up something or steals something or takes something,
it's like there are certain like key points where you know it's going to affect things, but sometimes it comes as a surprise. Like for example, in the second game, I decided to not really form a close friendship with one of the characters, and that character ended up dying, and that character's never coming back. Like third game, they're gone.
Okay.
Know? But there are some characters I formed a really close relationship to, and they will refer to events that I did in the first game, even. And you think about it, that's very impressive because, again, remember, the original game was 2007, 2010, 2013, so they would take your save file from the first game, remember all you did, and then 3 years later, your actions from the first game impacted events, how events unfold.
So if you wanted to do something different, you would have to go back and start over, you would create a whole new profile.
You need a new profile, redo, or I can go back and be like an evil person, and I can and have a completely different storyline. There's like the general storyline still the same, like some broad strokes, but you know all the decisions that you make have lasting impacts, which is very interesting. So it's like one of those. It's like a choose your own adventure kind of game, where there is a gameplay element, there's a shooting element, but a lot of it is about the story, the narrative, and how you form relationships and how you affect the people around you.
And again, a really basic question. Are you, like, is what you see on the screen basically you're seeing through John Shepard's eyes?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a first-person shooter? Is that
No, it's not a first-person. It's a third-person game. So you see, like, over the shoulder when you're playing, when you're shooting. Okay. But you can see your character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, so you can see your character.
Okay. Yeah. It's not all first-person POV.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so that's definitely occupying a lot of my time. But going back to, I think that it's just interesting because Mass Effect definitely has taken tons from Star Trek. Like, the world building, the races, they call it the council. Like, it's like, that's like the, Federation Council, whatever, basically. But then it's like, this is what happens. It's like, and then, Picard, years and years later, it's like, oh, wow, there's like a lot of story elements from Mass Effect that, that they may have inadvertently taken or subconsciously taken, which is just very interesting. So anyway. Yeah. So I'm making my way through Mass Effect, and then, so I'm watching some TV. I started watching Ted Lasso, which I've only seen one episode, but I think it's good.
Okay.
Everyone raves about it.
Yeah, everyone
people
does.
loves it.
I've
it's coming back for season 2.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to watch that. I'm still watching The Handmaid's Tale, your favorite. And I started to read Ringworld, which is a classic. It's like, I think from the 70s or something.
Well, one, kudos to you for reading a second book.
In
yes. 2021.
Yes.
This is an impressive... And I guess I'm going to take partial credit for your reading because I got you to read Andy Weir's new book, which was excellent. But I'm glad to see that your diversity of entertainment experiences has expanded to electronic, I would assume.
Yes,
books.
Of course. I mean, so reading Project Hail Mary, it kind of scratched a very specific itch for me. Which is this very like hardcore sci-fi fiction. Yeah. Which is, so I started to look for like hard sci-fi novels. And I've already read the 3 Body Problem series. That's one of the top ones. Right. There was another series I already read which I would highly recommend. The first book of which is called Spin. It's fascinating. It's really, really good. I think you would like it as well.
Is this like a foundation, like an Asimov's foundation, like hard science or like things like
a little bit, yeah. It's like very heavily influenced by Asimov, yeah. Well, Ringworld is about, it's like many hundreds of years in the future, and basically there are alien races living amongst us. They're whatever, but a few of them go on a mission to basically explore this planet that has a ring around it. You know how in Relics there's a Dyson sphere? Like it's completely covers the sun.
Yeah.
In Ringworld there's like a planet. There's like a ring surrounding a sun.
Oh wow.
And it's similar to a Dyson sphere where a Dyson sphere completely
people
covered.
Are living on this ring?
So you can live in the interior of the ring.
Okay.
So except it's not completely covered. It's not a sphere. It's like a ring, which is much more easily.
So the flat side is towards the sun.
Yes,
versus a ring like that we see in Saturn, around Saturn, which is flat.
Correct. So the ring spins, so it creates gravity, centrifugal force.
Okay, yeah.
And it absorbs all the energy from the sun.
Oh wow! So and people live on the interior facing the
I'm
sun.
not that far yet. I don't know if there are people. Right. It might be a relic situation where it's been abandoned or something.
Okay.
So they just got there, basically.
All right.
It's okay. It's like, I think that the language is a little bit dated.
Sure. It's the 70s. I mean,
it is one of those books where they throw a lot of pronouns. I'm like, oh my god, all the pronouns. And then I was playing The Witcher, and then I was reading Ringworld, and I got some mythology confused. It was really bad. I was like, wait. I was like, faster than light travel in this world. Wait, how does it work versus that? I was getting a little bit all over the place. But it's still good. It's not as quick a read as Project Hail Mary, where there's this humor, it's fast, they explain things. They don't throw things at you without like some sort of like, because this is like they literally throw pronouns at you and you're like, I don't know, versus like Project Hail Mary where they kind of try to explain the science a little bit. So I'm kind of like working my way through it. We'll see if I finish.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely keep us updated, and if you continue reading it, sounds fascinating enough to hear more about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll let you know. I'll let everyone know. Great.
Cool. Is that all for off topic for you?
I think so. I think those are the major. I'm excited for Love Victor because you reminded me that that's coming back.
Yeah.
So very excited. I'm excited for Elite Season 4. That's coming back. I know you didn't really continue that, but oh my god, I'm so excited.
No.
That's coming back in mid-June. And then what else is there? I don't know. I think that's pretty much it.
Well, I mean, we're only about 2 months away from Lower Decks premiering.
Oh, that's right.
Since we're in mid-June.
And STLV.
Yeah. So we've and hopefully, somewhere in there, Prodigy perhaps, and I don't know. Discovery season 4 has not officially still has not wrapped per se, but yeah. So there's a lot of Star Trek coming down the line, but also I would imagine some other good sci-fi coming.
I hope so.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, now's a good time to give a shout out to our friends at Fansets who...
Didn't you already talk about them a little bit earlier?
Well, we talked about the Fan Geeks party in Vegas.
Yes.
But we did not give the little promo, which simply says,
You could have done it at the same time, but that's
I could have, yes. But we got caught up in the whole Tuvix Trek sets, Fan Geeks discussion and that thing.
Yes.
So I did not put a promo in for them there. Last week we did talk about this new anniversary pin set, and actually today pre-orders went up for the magnetic version of the Strange New World / Captain Pike badge.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So the badge that they wear on the Enterprise, the type of badge that they wear on the Enterprise and Discovery.
With the Delta with the
Delta,
little squiggle in the middle?
Yeah, but it's got the silver background.
Okay.
Yeah, so Fansets has really done is doing pre-orders right now for the magnetic version of that. And also, I believe the magnetic versions of the All Good Things future comm badge look from...
with the bars.
With the bars, yes.
I think that you should just buy more pins, because I know Dennis hates stuff, and just hide them around the apartment. And just, have magnets and pins, slowly accumulate in the apartment and see how long it takes them to notice.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll do that.
I think that would be a fun game. It's like, you recently watched the game, right?
The what?
The game, TNG episode.
Oh, yeah, right.
Speaking
another episode that...
Underappreciated?
I don't know. Is it underappreciated? Or
it's
then
notorious.
you know what that brings up for me is Move Along Home from DS9, which is also a game.
Oh, the board game episode from season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst.
It was not. Early DS9 was still getting its feet, but still being very different than anything else. So yeah. Anyway, getting back to Fansets very briefly.
That's why we're here.
Fansets supports the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and you, our dear listeners, can get 10% off your order if you use the code DSPRIDE, all caps, in checkout. You'll get 10% off your order, and if you order over $30 worth of pins, shipping is free.
Free shipping!
So...
I love free shipping.
Free shipping is nice. So
the costs are baked in, but it still feels good.
Yes, exactly. Of course. But we want to give a huge thank you to Fansets for supporting Deep Space Pride and the Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Thanks, Fansets.
All right. So we've already told people how to reach us, but just in case they haven't... Again, just tell them, how can people reach us if they have any thoughts on on our off topic, on our breakdown of schisms. Maybe some people out there have had nightmares about schisms.
Or if you're in our feverish anticipation of Sub Rosa and our discussion about that, you can let us know.
There we go. Yeah. So how can people do that?
So people can reach us on Instagram and Twitter at DeepSpacePride, or you can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com, and we will respond to you at some point.
There we go. Well, I think that does it for this week's live in-person episode.
I know, this is great.
Yeah, this worked out really well.
I feel I paid so much more attention to you talking than I usually do.
That's true. You did not have your work laptop open and was answering emails as I spoke.
That's true. It's less opportunity for multitasking, more accountability.
There was. No, this worked out really good, and hopefully when we put it out there, the audio quality, when we put this all through.
Oh my god! If we need to re-record this, I will stab you in the face.
No, we're not. No, we've got a solid recording. I'm actually really happy with the solid recording. So we'll see you next week. We'll have another Pride prompt, and we'll be talking about season 7's underappreciated episode.
Yeah.
But it sort of falls into the infamous category, so. We may have to do a bonus episode for season 7.
Oh my god!
It is underappreciated. But for next week, if you want to follow along with us, watch Sub Rosa, and that's what we'll be talking about.
Yes, candles
or lanterns. Anyway, everyone, have a great week. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Bye bye. See you later.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com, or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut.